Hey, so this week in the Nightfall rotation, we got a Heist Battleground again. So this one is on Europa this time. It's basically the same as the Moon, basically the same as the Mars, just different skin, kinda, sorta. Maybe not really. Maybe I'm stretching it a bit on that one. Yeah. Anyways, we're at Europa this time. So this guide, it's intended for those that are maybe a bit newer to Destiny, looking to solo things for the first time, or just in general looking for maybe certain things that you can do to make your solo attempt or solo runs a little more stress-free, or how to just complete this a little bit more passively, especially in certain sections. So by all means, there's definitely way faster ways to get this done. There's ways, like if you're a pro at this game, like just a lot more aggressive stances you can take to get this done easier because of the experience that you bring and that sort of thing. So now that we got that little disclaimer out of the way, we can kind of get into it here. So for Heist Battleground Europa for this week, if you're doing it this week, because some of these modifiers are on rotation, but for this week for Surges, we have Arc and Strand. Strand, of course, because it's always Strand and it will be for the rest of our lives. It's what it feels like. For threats, it's a solar threat this time. So the one thing about the solar threat with this one is, personally, I think it's meaningless. I think even though there's a solar threat, the threat is definitely way more Arc and Void. So for me personally, run all three resists, one for solar, one for void, one for arc. I don't think that's the wrong choice. Or you can run like double arc and one void, something like that. But there's definitely a lot more incoming damage, especially since you're fighting Fallen for the majority of this from arc, and the boss is shooting void. So solar, you had Acolyte grenades are solar, and some of the barrier champions, some of the knights are solar, and that's basically it. Everything else, the hive wizards that can be a little bit of a pain are arc. There's lots of arc. Anyways, so that's just how I feel about this, is the solar threat means nothing in this one. Beyond that, the only other thing really to pay attention to is there's overcharged linears in this one. So if you want to run a linear, not a terrible choice, especially you're going to see here a lot of the gameplay and a lot of the methods that you can do to make this easier on yourself is going to be long distance anyways, and a linear fits into that just fine. Plus the boss, he's got it's a shrieker, so it's got a crit, or I should say a nice crit spot on the boss anyways. But yeah, linear's totally not a bad choice if that's what you like or that's what you're into. So for champs, you got Barrier and Unstoppable, of course, because that's what every Nightfall is this season, except for Devil's Lair, I guess. There's no Unstoppables there, but other than that, it's the same. It's the same, everything's the same. But yeah, so load out, run whatever you're comfy with. Don't feel any peer pressure from any other videos or guys that you're seeing to use a specific loadout. Run whatever you think you're comfy with. Your Guardian's an adult. It can do whatever it wants. It doesn't have to listen to no one. So this one starts with the laser towers, of course. So for this part, you can run this any way you please, and if you totally epically fail, it's totally cool because you only lost 1 minute of your life. And you can just try again until you figure out a path that you prefer more than anything else. Me personally, I like the top left. Kill a couple acolytes, kill a knight, kill another knight, kill a couple more acolytes, kill one more knight, and then I'm through the door. This is just my preference, so up top left, jump down through this little thing. What kind of room this is? Spaceship? I don't know. And then into the Europa kind of Clovis Bray station here. So yeah, but whatever you want to do. And again, if you die, who cares? It doesn't matter. You just start again. Now for the proper first checkpoint. So for this one, kind of for me personally, what I like to do is get my foot inside the door, basically. So first step is taking care of this barrier that just is right in front of you as soon as the door opens up. I take care of him as soon as possible, and then I'm just going to use my grenades. If I can, clear out some of the vandals and dregs. Dregs keep chucking their grenades, which isn't so much of a bother. It's more those vandals and those like arc needle or guns or whatever, but kind of get a foothold inside the door here. I'm gonna kill this knight in the barrier on the right hand side here, and then as soon as they're dead, as soon as I got that barrier and the knight done, and as soon as I see the shanks spawn in, because they're the next spawn is the wave of shanks, as soon as I see them, I'm gonna pop my super. So I like a roaming super actually for this one. It's like one of the only ones where I prefer a roaming super. It just comes in handy in a few scenarios here, but I prefer that. So as soon as this barrier is dead, I'm just gonna charge in, I'm gonna pop my super and just kill as much as I can. So before my super runs out though, I kind of have a choice, so it depends on my mood. So there's two spots I like to hang out in this part. One is near the entrance that you just came in on the right hand side. There's this second level right here that you can hang out. Now this spot is definitely the safest, I think, in my opinion. So from here you can chip away at all the ads. You can, you know, pop your head out, chuck a grenade, hide back in there, because they do like to group up, so it does work really well. And just throughout this, you're going to see here that as the waves of exploding shanks and the vandals with the spears and the marauders, the invisible marauders spawn in, they're going to be charging up here. And really, they're the only thing that can kill you unless you're totally standing out in the open and being lazy about the whole thing. But just careful with them. There is some times where they'll just magically appear behind you when you're up in this spot. So if you hear something, make sure your ears are on. And if you hear something, just know like there's a guy behind you, and to like jump out of there, jump out of the way. And it's easy enough to avoid. You can just jump down to the lower level. They'll take the stairs to come get you. You can jump back up to the top and whatever. No big deal. Now, the nice thing about this spot is you can basically stay here the whole time if you wanted to, especially if your loadout has something that's a bit more long range, like a scout or wish ender, a bow, etc., etc. You can stay here for a long time, almost the whole time. The snipers that spawn in at the back near the end of the wave, you're totally like safe from them. They won't shoot that far. The boss won't shoot that far. Nobody will shoot that far. The only thing that can get you, like I was saying, was the exploder shanks. So you will get to a point where it just gets a little bit too frustrating when you're down to like the last wave of enemies, but and you'll probably push forward at that point, which that's cool. Like it's pretty safe at that point anyways. Now the second spot I was talking about, where sometimes depending on my mood I like to go, is after I cast that first super, when I first kind of got my foot in the door here, just when that one's done, I'm gonna book it to the far end of the room, again on the right hand side, up these stairs kind of, and I'm just gonna hide behind this crate for the most part. All the enemies are going to group up right in front of me. They're a lot closer this time, so it's funner. It's definitely funner to do this way. Slightly less safe, but still pretty safe as long as you're really hugging this crate here. But, you know, just chucking grenades, using my heavy to clear out the groups and herds of enemies. Again, when the exploders and the invisible guys and the spear guys come in, it's going to get a little dicey. So definitely, if you are going to do this, have something in your back pocket to protect against them, whether it's like a grenade, your super, just whatever. Now when the boss spawns in, the main mini boss here, he does throw stasis grenades, so this place isn't cool. Once he kind of appears, you want to probably book it at that point when you see him spawn in, so otherwise he's going to freeze you and it's just going to be, I don't know, a disaster, probably. So, but other parts for this room that come in handy. So there is waves of enemies, but when the captains come in, so when the servitors spawn in near the beginning of the waves there, and some captains are going to come with them and a little bit before, but when you're down to like the last few captains and they're just pissing you off because they keep teleporting away, look for this heavy shank. When this heavy shank spawns in, once you kill that heavy shank, basically the remaining enemies from the other waves are going to run to the far back of the room. So if we see here these two captains that are kind of annoying me a little bit, I just focus on the shank, kill the shank, and then those two captains, they book it to the far end, and they're just going to leave me alone for the whole time until I get my head up there to fight the boss. But anyways, that's it. So eventually a champion barrier is going to spawn into the center here. By then I'm kind of hanging out the center platform by the monolith, and then yeah, you can just pick away at the boss from a distance. Just again, remember, if you do get too close to him, he's going to start throwing stasis grenades at you. They're not all that dangerous. I mean, they're easy enough. If you see one land beside you, just get out of there. Probably it's not the best idea to get frozen on purpose, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's it. Now basically you're just going to run through the hallways, past some knights, wizard, a couple fallen snipers, blah blah blah, and then you're going to make it to this section here where you got 3 barrier champs and unstoppable at the far back. So not much to talk about here. This one, again, it's super simple. You can get rid of the unstoppable 1 barrier way back in safety there, right from a distance if you desire. After that, I just like to kind of creep up the right hand side of this catwalk right here, take out the other 2 barrier, and then after that just kill everything else as it comes or as it pleases me. Some thralls will come out of the shadows there and kind of charge you at some point, but you'll see them coming and they always just jump up at the exact same spot on this catwalk here. Not a big deal. Something to keep in mind, all those hive knights at the far back there, they're not champs or anything, they're just orange bars, majors, but they'll leave you alone until you're down to either the last barrier at the front side here with you or the last hive knight. Once you're down to just one of those left, they're going to kind of start running around and shooting at you even from across the room there. They're probably not going to hurt you too much, but just something to be on the lookout for. Just be ready. If you are totally out in the open, they will pick away at you, and if you stand there too long, they'll kill you, but not a big deal either way. But now you're moving on to the Deathtongue part here. So the Deathtongue, hopefully you got something long range for this one because it makes it so much easier. Now, definitely the easiest way to do this is if you have, what's it called, Rapid Fire Ranger on your Season 22 Artifact mod, which is definitely like great to have. So basically what you want to do is you want to find the Deathtongue. You can tell it's him because he's kind of flashing white here a little bit, and just try and get some crit hits on him. Once you got some crit hits on him, he's gonna take more damage, of course, but he's also gonna run slower after he activates the thing. But he's always gonna run to this pillar here, and what you want to do is, or what I want to do anyways for me, is try to get a grenade on him. Some snipers are going to spawn right beside him. The grenade will take care of them too. If I'm lucky, I'll get another grenade off on him, which is great, and then just damage him as fast as possible. So it's a little bit annoying because he's going to go hide. Once you start hitting him, he's going to look for cover, and with the Rapid Fire Ranger kind of debuff on him, he's going to go much slower. It's going to make it much easier to kind of burn him down before he can take cover. If he takes cover in a good spot, there's a couple spots where he takes cover and you have no hope in hell in getting him, kind of thing. So it's a little annoying if you can't get him because you don't got your abilities, right? But if you get him, great. If you don't get him, your next option is to jump down right here. Now, if you got him or not, the Shriekers are going to be awake. So with these Shriekers, what is convenient is you see here how they're not shooting at me because I'm kind of in the sweet spot. So go forward just enough to wake them up, but not enough for them to start shooting at you, and then I back up and shoot at them. All Shriekers basically work like this. They all kind of have a sweet spot where you get close enough for them to open, but you're not close enough for them to shoot. And if you're really lucky, you can kind of stay in that sweet spot and just keep shooting at them. But just something worth trying out anyways. But yeah, and that's it. So after you got the Shriekers done and the Deathtongue, you're good to go. If you don't have the Deathtongue yet, when you're at this point, it's basically your best bet is to take out the Hive Knights and the Barrier Champion that's right beside you first before really going to hunt, because there's a lot of stuff going down there, and if you get right up in the thick of it, it's just going to be a huge pain in the ass, and it's not worth the trouble, in my opinion. Just take the extra minute to burn down these champions without your abilities, I think anyways. But moving on to the next one. There's also an Unstoppable in the far back. I guess I should say this. So if you don't know, there's two snipers by the doorway here. You can kill them from a distance before they start shooting at you. That's usually best. Sometimes I forget about them and they remind me by shooting me in the head a little bit. And then I remember and I back up and kill them. And then also same thing with the Unstoppable. You can do him from way away in the distance here too. This one Barrier will just magically appear here. So, don't get caught off guard by him, especially if it's your first playthrough, and that it could be a little bit of an annoying awakening or realization when he just appears out of nowhere like Barrier Champions tend to do in this one, which we'll see right now with this part. So the laser hallway. So this part shouldn't be a big deal, but it is, because the second laser hallway after this one, as soon as you go through this doorway, here we'll see here, the lasers will go off. I'm gonna go in. As soon as I get in here, two bears just magically appear. And it sucks. And here, I almost died because I forgot to throw a grenade to kind of proc Devour earlier, but it worked out fine, but still. So that's with the roaming super. So a trick for this, if you don't have a way to tie up those barriers as soon as they spawn, is you can do this. If you see here, I'm gonna run through this door a few feet, and then I'm gonna turn around, run back in before those lasers come in. And I went far enough into that room to trigger the spawn for these two barriers, but now I'm also in cover, and what you're gonna see is they're just gonna bolt. They're gonna leave this room, run to the middle of the Clovis Bray area here, so you're kind of safe. So you just gotta be tricky with the time. You gotta be fast for that one, that's all. It can be a little sweaty feeling, but yeah, that works. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a fan of this room. It's just, I don't know, something about it, I don't like it. But if you want to do it kind of the most casual way, for me anyways, is from the far back here, you're going to kill all 4 Hive Barrier. So there's 4 Hive Barriers there now because the 2 ran from the hallway there. So they're going to just be doing laps around the arena there. So when one comes and aggroes you a bit, just focus on that one, kill it, move on to the next one until all 4 are done. Once those 4 are done, there's the Servitor Barrier in the far back, and that one's pretty easy. Just pick away at him, kill him. Once he's dead, I like to take out the Shanks. So there's 2 heavy Shanks, kill them. And then I also like to kill these Acolytes on the right hand side just by chucking a grenade, because it's just some easy kills and they're all grouped together, so it's easy. But other than that, I don't like dealing with the wizards from this front area here, that the hallway. So what I do is I book it down the left hand side of this hallway, take a sharp 90 degrees, jump over this crate, and then hang out in this area. This area, you're 100% safe from the wizards. The only thing that's really going to come get you is every once in a while acolytes will run in there, not very often, and the thralls. Once you get a wizard near death, some waves of thralls are going to spawn in. So regular thralls, and then also some exploders will spawn in, along with some more acolytes. But so that's it. And then after that, I'll focus on this back left wizard right here first, kill him. Once I got that one done, jump up above me to the catwalk, kill that wizard. Once that one's done, there's just one left. I go maybe collect a bit of ammo. I usually have my super for this guy. Hit him a few times till he hides, and then run in and just wipe him out, and then you're good to go to the door section. The door section, same as all the other Heist battlegrounds, really. You don't have to do nothing if you don't want to. You can just hide somewhere, let the counter count down. Only one barrier will spawn on this one. I know some Heist battlegrounds, it'll be 2 champions. Here it's just 1. So kill it. Once you kill it, everything disappears. You're good to go. My preference for this is just right up above the door, this little spot right here. That's what I like, but people do it from other areas too, no big deal. And then, yeah, the boss room. So, like all Heist battlegrounds, this boss fight has the normal way and then the super easy way compared to the normal way anyways. So just like all of them, they all have their cheese spots. So I'm sure you guys know about this one, but if you don't, I'm sure you do. But the first one is you're going to activate it and you're going to run back here. You're going to jump up on this little archway. And then from the archway, you're going to jump to these pipes or conduits, whatever you want to call it. And then from here, you're relatively safe. Not 100% safe on this one, but pretty close. Now, if you're a Void Hunter, it's easy. You just go invis and you're good to go, right? If you're not, that's why another reason I'm using the roaming super on this one, just for the added protection to get to the spot here. Because once you activate it, the boss has like a couple seconds of just shooting wherever randomly. He's not even aiming at you, but then when he wakes up, he's going to drop some void-seeking bombs, and they're going to come towards you. So a few of them on the first one, they're going to find their way to you, and just having something to tank that just makes it a little bit easier. Other than that, you can just start damaging the boss. Now, when he disappears and teleports to another area, it's best to pay attention to him, because if you see the ring of lights light up after he teleports at like his old location, that means there's void bombs being spawned in that are going to track you down and try and hurt you there. Most of them will miss you in this spot, but a few of them will make it through. So if you see the lights, that's good. Just stay there looking at them and just shoot the void bombs as they spawn. That's great. If not, just if you're a warlock in this case that you're seeing here, it's a good time for me to pop my rift when I hear those things coming, because I can tank 1, 2 of them. I can tank. But when it gets to 3 or more, like that's when basically I might be dying. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, and just, damage him a little bit as he goes. You might have to kind of dodge his blast a little bit or peek in and out to do damage at him. Not a big deal. Ads will be spawning in. Wizards will be spawning in. Most of the time you're safe. Every once in a while a wizard will get line of sight on you. And in that scenario, like if you think you're good, that's fine. Just ignore it. But usually best thing to do is try and kill that wizard that's being aggressive towards you. Otherwise, he might end up shooting at you at the same time the void bombs are coming, and then you just might end up accidentally wiping, which would be a big waste because you're cheesing it, right? To die while you're cheesing it, that's not a good feeling, right? Now, eventually, when he's halfway dead and he goes to sleep, that's when everything else spawns in. If you totally feel like it, and there's no shame in doing it, you can kill all the ads that spawn in from here first before jumping off this spot to start dunking bombs. So there's going to be a barrier champion. There's going to be 2 or 3 hive knights with a sword. I want to say it's 3. And a bunch of acolytes. Now, yeah, spam grenades, whatever. The barrier champion will go up to the center spot here. And also, this is a good time to kill that fallen captain with his solar gun. Scorch cannon, may as well kill him while he's there. Otherwise, he's just going to start picking away at your health, and that's no good either. So when you think it's safe to do so, jump down. But, see, I almost forgot to say it right here, because every time I do this, I forget about the snipers that spawned in during phase 1 here. In the back right-hand side, there's going to be 2 shank snipers. Kill them before leaving this spot, because I swear to God, I forget every single time, and then it's like a fight for my life to try and kill them before they kill me, and honestly, it's a little embarrassing. So kill those snipers. Kill them. Don't forget. Now, when you do jump down, there's going to be some exploding thralls kicking around, maybe a few acolytes kicking around. So jump down and then hide underneath the stairs spot. Now, also, keep in mind this spot is also the best place to do it if you're doing this the normal way. It's honestly, it's pretty safe here. It just, for me, it's a little bit annoying in the point that damaging the boss just feels like it's way more tedious because you're just popping in and out of cover more. You're having to pause all the time to deal with wizards and acolytes that are spawning in, plus the odd thrall, stuff like that. And it's totally fine. It's honestly, I don't think it's that much more difficult even. It's just super annoying. That's all. It's just, and it feels like it's a time sink, kind of. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anyways, for dunking the ball spot, what you need to know for that, or what's convenient to know, anyways, is the captain spawns, how that works. So, how that works is, initially, as soon as the boss goes to sleep, the 3 fallen captains that are holding the arc balls spawn in. So there's 3. So there's one on the left, one in the center, one on the right. Now, when you kill one, the very first one you kill, it's kind of like a freebie. There isn't going to be a captain that respawns to fill his place on the very first one. Now, after you kill the second one though, then they get replaced. So the first one you kill, nothing happens as far as the captains are concerned. The second one you kill, 2 are going to spawn. So one spawns to replace that first one you killed. The second one spawns to replace the second one you killed, but at the same time. Now, after this point, every time you kill one is going to spawn to replace them. So not totally dissimilar from the other battlegrounds, is kind of, you want to just keep this rotation in mind, because when you do get into your flow for killing the captain, picking up the arc ball, dunking, you got to keep in mind where his replacement's spawning from. So in this case, we're working from the right hand side, or under the stairs section here. So the captain that's on top of the stairs, we're going to kill him. As soon as we kill him, his replacement's going to spawn. It's a little late the first time they spawn, but they spawn, trust me. And I'm going to pick up that ball, run and dunk it. Now, if I'm super late picking up the ball, compared to when he spawns, that replacement's running towards basically where you killed that guy. And if you're too close to him, he's going to end up chasing you, just like the other battleground heists. So it's a little bit annoying and can be a little bit of a problem if they follow you all the way to the dunk spot while they're shooting you, right? So for me personally, what I like to do is, as soon as I kill him, I'll run and pick up that ball and then go dunk it. If it works out that way and I can kill him by using a finisher, that's even better, because then I'm standing right on top of the ball when he drops it, and it just makes it a lot more simple. Now for this one, as soon as you dunk it, you're going to see here when I turn, enemies are going to be spawning right there, and it doesn't matter what enemies are there, those are the ones that I'm going to just toss my grenade onto and clear out. So it's a little bit random. Most of the time it's going to be acolytes, but sometimes, and sometimes twice in a row, it's going to be the group of wizards are going to spawn there. So just keep that in mind. If you're not ready to handle wizards, don't dunk the ball, I guess, is kind of the best case. So for me, if I don't have my grenade ready, I'm not going to be dunking the ball, because no matter what's coming out of this spawn point here, I want to make sure I have a grenade on it, right? Does that make sense? And then other than that, I'm just going to repeat. So pick up the first ball, dunk it, acolytes or whatever, everything's spawning in. I'm going to throw my ball or my grenade on this one, kill them. I'm going to hide under the stairs, clear out any wizards and acolytes that spawn in. Once they're cleared out, I'm going to jump up top here, kill the captain, grab the ball, dunk it, and repeat. Now, when you get to the later stages, when you're dunking ball 3, 4, and 5, there's going to be more wizards spawning. So it starts off with just 2 wizards, and then it'll be 3 and 4 spawning after that. So just keep that in mind. If you only killed 2, but you're on like the last dunk, then there's going to be more spawning in. And so super simple anyways, as long as you just keep the rotation in mind. Now, when you dunk the 5th one, you don't want to probably run back to that G spot if you're planning on using that G spot right away, unless you're a hunter. If you're a void hunter, or if you're a warlock, then could go invis now, because that's a thing. Unless you're one of those things, you don't want to just go running for that G spot again, because it's not going to work out for you this time. So mostly because you're going to have all these ads shooting at you that are going to spawn after you dunk the 5th one, plus you're going to have those void bombs following you, and it's just a lot coming at you all at once, and something bad's probably going to happen. So for me personally, what I find easiest is, as soon as I do that 5th one, I'm going to book it under the stairs again, and then I'm just going to fight my way, or tough my way through all the ads that are going to spawn. So there's going to be a bunch of thrall, a bunch of acolytes, another barrier champion, a bunch of wizards, and I'm just going to blast my way through them. Once it's safe, like I killed the round of ads, I'm just going to wait for the Shrieker to teleport, because when he teleports, he's not shooting at anything for like a good 30 seconds. He's just shooting blindly, randomly. He's not aiming at you or nothing. So I'm going to let him teleport, make sure there's no void balls spawning in, or void bombs spawning in. And when I make sure the coast is clear, then I'm gonna book it back to the cheese spot at this point. And just for me, this is just a bit more consistent for safety reasons. That's all. Does that make sense? And then same thing as last time. I'm just gonna chip away at its health and until the whole thing's over. And again, if a wizard gets line of sight of you or is being a little too aggressive towards you, I would probably shift my attention from the boss to him. I'd keep a rift handy in this case, just to make sure those void bombs aren't going to get me when he does do it. But if I do have line of sight on him, I'm going to kill him. And that's it. Like, so that's the easy way. The annoying way, I guess, or the tedious way is, or the legit way, maybe, can we call it that, is when you first start this encounter. Now, you're not going to use the cheese spot. When you first start in this encounter, you're just going to run straight under the stairs, and you're just going to hang out here the whole time. Now, you can kind of work out some angles to get line of sight on the boss that's like relatively safe, but you're never like 100% safe. And just the reason I'm not a fan of this spot, not because it's harder, it is harder, I guess, not gonna lie, but it's just the point where you get a little bit of damage on him and then ad spawns. So you're like, okay, you stop on the boss, you clear out ads, and then you need to damage the boss again, but you need to get a good line of sight on him, and you're like ducking in and out of cover. And it's just like a time sink. I don't know how else to say it, but that's just me personally though. But like, why would I do it the hard way? I'm too old for that. I would hate that. But yeah, that's it. So hopefully this is helpful to you. So if you knew all this stuff and this is nothing you didn't already know and you still managed to watch to this point, you're probably the best person in the world and you're going straight to heaven for sure. And if you did learn something that you didn't know already, that's even better. Other than that, apologies if I forgot or left something out, but come on, man, like, I'm going past 26 minutes here. Like, what the hell am I thinking doing a guide that's this long? Like, that's ridiculous, I think. I apologize. Oh my God, I just seen that. Ugh, gross. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for watching.